world, the Beastmaker's world, is a swamp. It's endless swampland on every side. It's nothing but green and darker green as far as the eye can see. It's also very deadly. Luckily, there are swamp chickens in basically every area in this world. There is a swamp chicken, said to replenish our health. And in here, we've got more swamp. The villagers took some swamp from over there and put it over here for safekeeping. Or possibly lunch. Who am I to judge? They are very storied people with a history and historic culture that's currently being invaded by these electro-norks. They listen to Sony brand Walkmans and electrocute the floor. It's a bit of a timing puzzle, if you can call it not a puzzle. I deserve to get hit there. Close viewers know why. Here is Bruno.
Nasty Nork is turning our swamp into an electrified junk heap. And it used to be so beautiful.
I'm sure it was.
Aye. That is a very distinct culture there. There is no Louisiana in Spyro the Dragonland, but this is the closest you're going to get to it. The first world of this world is Terrace Village, and it covers the same theme pretty much as the home world covers. It's Swamp Dragons' home being invaded by electric Norks. Slightly bigger ones at that. This is a punk Nork. He has electric taser or cattle whip. Cattle prod, sorry. He's also a punk because of the mohawk and the enormous belly button ring that looks like he stole it off of a bull's nose. If you grew up in the 90s and you were a punk, that's what you looked like. In this world, the swamp chickens take a lot of abuse from the Norks themselves, in addition to me. But when they get killed by a Nork, they don't release any butterflies, which I am currently at a deficit of. Instead, the Nork Trooper, this little guy here with the machine guns for arms, which you'd think sounds a lot cooler, but in practice it's not as great. I can never aim those correctly. Sneak up on that guy and go around for this area. This is the part of Spyro the Dragon that starts to become very less linear. This entire world progressively becomes less linear. This area here, instead of being a straight line, is a figure 8 loop with many little pockets that you have to enter, like this one, which I do not wish to forget. Of course filled with enemies and gems, because everybody loves collectibles and it's a satisfying sound effect. That trooper has a very deep growl. Ugh. I'll have to go kill one. I'll have to go kill things just so you can hear sound effects. There we go. Also, I feel skilled for doing that. He also has mirror sunglasses. I want mirror reflective sunglasses. I know it's not as aviators or anything like that, because even the bridge and the dealies go behind your ears are completely mirror reflective. Cloud.
Watch out, Spyro. The Norks in these parts have discovered the power of electricity, and it really stings.
Aye. It really stings if you are a huge dragon fully adult. If you are a child like Spyro, it murders, which is quite a step above stinging. Up there we can see treasure chests that we cannot access. Now, they may be technologically disadvantaged, but their aerodynamic skills are to be admired. This firework is not pointing straight at anything, but you see in the distance we have some strong boxes. Watch this. I mean, that is absolute precision. I even like how they incorporated a wind-up near the end there. This other one's going to remain strong and unbroken because we cannot reach all of the fireworks in this level. I charged into that guy's body, but luckily his electricity could not course through it as well, so it was a stalemate. Woo. Gotta watch yourself. The other fireworks, of course, are at the top of these buildings, which Spyro cannot get to until he unlocks his triple jump. And here's where the timing becomes quite a bit trickier, as they put enemies in your way and bigger padding with the Norks farther away. Of course, the simple solution is to avoid every enemy until you've taken out the Walkman Norks, but I like to live dangerously and also electrocutedly. And don't worry about the things on the floor, I'll be turning there very quickly because the platforming here starts to get a little bit difficult. As you can see, I couldn't make that jump. Well, I guess it's okay, there were some gems down here. And there's more gems down here. And one thing, that is not a safety net down there. That is, even though there is a bottomless pit on the other side of it, that is not grassland, that is swampland, and you will drown if you fall down there. Not exactly the most fortuitous demise for our hero. It really begs the question why they needed the areas to be invaded by these conquistadors when everybody was already put into crystal prisons. And or if they weren't already in crystal prisons, couldn't these huge, tough swamp people, dragons, take care of all these invasions? The deeper implications of Spyro, ladies and gentlemen. Cyprin.
Good job, Spyro. One day you'll be able to tell all the dragons about your amazing adventures.
Sure, but what I'd really like to do is get out of this swamp.
Now, they fluctuate in accent between Louisiana French and just absolute French and Scottish, I think that guy turned out to be. Regardless, harrowing platforming section ahead. This jump here is nigh impossible, so I'm going to get a good running start at it, just so I can avoid the absolute that I'm going to be electrocuted once I hit the other side. That's once and if I hit the other side. When I say impossible, I mean I'm going to do it, it's just taking a while. And I think I actually avoided electric fate, yeah. I like how his thunder could loop around to hit me, even if I was on the other side of the cattle prod. We're rewarded with making that jump with a series of impossible jumps here, the first of which being to that platform with the green gem. If we could make this jump, then we could get a lot more gems and even kill that Nork. If we could make the other jump to the Nork itself, we wouldn't be able to get those gems, but we'd still be able to get him dead. But that doesn't seem to be the case. So instead we're going to take a third option, which is an even slightly more impossible jump, aggravating more so in the fact that it is possible, if only slightly. Now, I know I made that look incredibly easy, but trust me, I'm a professional, and I make these jumps in the first try to give the viewer a sense of accomplishment, so that maybe he thinks he could play Spyro and talk over it at the same time successfully. Trust me, you can't. I mean, there's no way you could make that jump. Assuredly not. You also could not notice this slight secret camouflaged stairs in the wall here. At this point, we would have already gotten the gems from down there, and to reach the rooftops on the other side of this building here from the earlier in the level, we would just glide over here and around and land on there. But of course, because this is a glideless challenge, that cannot be accomplished. Instead, we're going to have to turn around and, with our tail slightly between our legs, if we go to the right angle, and take out this guy. Still get electrocuted, even though his body was rid of its life and electrical impulses of itself. And that is all we can accomplish in this level so far, except for returning home meekly. as is the Louisianan way to do. That's a French joke. Okay. Seeing as this world is the Beast Maker's world, let's see if they can make a beast out of me. Am I a tough enough dragon to charge headfirst into extremely flammable objects? 2 out of 3 times, yes. Well, I had that coming to me, no matter how you slice it. It looks like this guy's going to slice it with electric force. I could have survived that, but because Sparks was slightly off screen, it made me look as if I was vulnerable. Now, channeling up memories of Town Square before it, we have charging boars. These ones are too big to do anything but flame to them, unless you want to get skewered on pig tusks, which isn't as bad as it sounds, but maybe if I weren't recording. And they inhabit pretty much every platform from here on out throughout the homeworld and this entire world here, the Misty Ball. But first, we've got a dead-end island over here to take care of. Slightly more gems. And looks like this is where they keep all of the treasure of the swamp people. And since they're not going to do anything with it except sit in their own filth, I might as well relieve them of that responsibility. And look, they even cover the entire building. Oh my... That experience always makes you feel like you have incredible reflexes as a child when you can flame that boar before it actually damages you. Cletus.
Spyro, it's great to see you, but I've got to go.
They bothered to record that voice clip. Also, the redneck names start pouring forth as we move away from Louisiana and just to backwoods. Also, let's see what they got cooking up here. Oh, they have some gems at the very bottom of this hole. Surely this can't be a trap. No, seriously, it can't be a trap. It's just Wild Flight, the most hidden and most difficult speedway level of Spyro the Dragon. Not just the game, probably the entire franchise. Luckily, they provide us a way out so we don't have to rot at the bottom of a rotten tree stump. Instead, we can rot in the Misty Ball. Very scenic location. It's a bog and inhabited by mist. It's a change of pace, being that the green swampland is now purplish gray. And around this corner, if we sneak up, we can get a little bit of nature in action here. We've got a sleeping bandolier nork and a cage. It's just... oh, no, we startled him. And we broke his cage. Well, if this were the nature of the wild, we may have witnessed him capturing maybe me in the cage. But he got startled before I had the chance. And that rustling object, mound, you see over there, is a dragon-eating plant. And I really thought that its attack range was lower than that. They are only destroyable by flame, because they are grass type. And they're just going to shake when you're not in range, so if you slowly walk up to them, just until you are in range, you can generally flame before they attack you. It's sort of like a quick draw duel, because you don't know when they're going to fire. You have to have wits and nerves of steel. Luckily, that I can cheese my way onto this wall so I don't have to take damage and getting to the next platform. Glideless. And luckily they gave me a 1-up there because I'm going to need it for this area in specifics, this general world actually, because these are the hardest enemy in the game. These are swamp frogs, and they try to lash at you with their giant blue-green tongues if you get anywhere near them. They are small enemies, so they can be charged, but unlike every other small enemy, their attacks are so quick that you stand a chance of being hit if you just charge at them blindly, like that. So instead, you slowly creep up on them until your flames have hit them, because their hitbox is slightly bigger than their attack radius. So it's a bit of a strategy. If you don't know that you can flame them if you walk slowly up to them, you're going to have a much harder time here, because you're generally going to get hit at least every other time. And with only 4 hits to spare, and tons of frogs in this level, you aren't going to last long. Around door number 2, we've got nothing alive, just a peeking statue. And I almost fell in there. Some more dragon plants that aren't much of a threat if you just meander up to them and flame in the right direction. Luckily, they spit you out facing back towards them, so it's just, once you've gotten attacked, just mash circle and they'll be dead. You might be dead too, but at least you take somebody with you. And in the end, isn't that what life's all about?